to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. I know it's been a couple weeks. It's actually been 2 weeks to the day that Keys to the City did our last show. A lot, or should I say, has anything happened in sports since we've been going, Ted? I don't know. You look at everything that's been going on. Let's see. You had the huge UFC fight. Italy wins Euro 2020 because if we remember, they didn't have it last year. So Italy beats England. The NBA Finals has started, and it's been good so far. We'll see how the rest of it transpires. Giannis and the Bucks, do they win tomorrow night to tie up the series? And there was no NFL talk. And all of that craziness in the past 2 weeks that's been going on in the sports world hasn't been a lot of NFL. But guess what? We will be talking about the NFL very shortly in a couple of weeks because the NBA is going to be closing out their season as the finals is coming to an end soon, eventually. And then we'll be starting to talk about the NFL. But let's start off with the MLB because, well, we are at All-Star break. And it started last night in Coors Field as an exciting, exhilarating home run derby. Maybe it wasn't the result that people wanted to see, an Ohtani home run derby champion, but we didn't. We saw back-to-back Pete Alonso. Hey, Met fans, guess what? Might be the only title you win this year. So congratulations to all the Met fans as he repeats as home run derby champion. It was a great night, though. But I wanted to start off with the baseball in the sense of the face. We talk about faces of sports. NFL probably would say Brady, Mahomes. NBA, it's been LeBron's for 10 to 12 years now. The NHL you would say is Connor McDavid, stuff like that. When we come to baseball, that's where it gets tricky. That's where it gets interesting because you start asking yourself, well, Mike Trout, yeah, he's unbelievable, but can't stay on the field, and he plays for the LA Angels. Aaron Judge, huge name, plays for the New York Yankees, but he's up and down. He's injured at times too. So let me ask the question to you guys. Ted, I'll start with you, and then Joe, we'll go on to you. Who is the current face of the MLB? Now, ESPN just came out with an article today. I don't know. Maybe they've been checking out Keys to the City or something. But they had also Vlad Guerrero in this. You can add it if you want. But who is the face? Because these seem like the two guys that are the faces of baseball right now. Is it Shohei Ohtani or is it Fernando Tatis Jr.? Ted?
I don't think there has to be a face of a franchise. I listen to you talk. There doesn't have to be a face of the franchise. You have an amount of stars. There's no face of the franchise, face of the league in the NFL. I mean, you can name 5 guys right now that are the face of the.
I mean, when you think of it, but when you think, my point is when I say a face.
When I think of the NFL, I think of Tom Brady, I think of Aaron Rodgers, I think of Mahomes. There's 3 guys. So
okay.
Which one are you gonna pick? You're gonna pick.
I mean, right now, if I had to put the faces of the NFL right now, I would put Brady and Mahomes. You think of those two right off the bat.
I think of Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, but when you think of the NBA, you think of LeBron right off the bat. When you think of baseball, my thing is when you think of baseball.
Listen, I think of LeBron, I think of Durant, I think of Giannis. I do. Okay. I think of Giannis because he's the East Coast guy. LeBron, the West Coast guy, and I think of Durant's greatness too. That's who I think about. I do. There's no face to the franchise. I understand your question. Right now, these 2 guys are probably the top 2 guys. One because of Tatis' flash. He's got like Griffey / like 2020 new age thing, the dreadlocks, the hype chain, his ability to play shortstop, his ability with speed, power. His only thing, the reason why he's not even bigger, and we've talked about this consistently with Mike Trout, is he plays on the West Coast and plays for the Padres. Maybe if he played for the Dodgers or the Yankees, he'd be an even bigger star, but he's still an incredible star. But I'd say right now, where we are right now, today, it's Ohtani because of what he has done. I mean, last night was the Ohtani show. It was the show Ohtani show. That's what it was all about. I watched baseball tonight. I watched the preview show. It was all Ohtani's warm-ups. Ohtani was a starting pitcher. Ohtani's hit 33 home runs, most for an Asian-born player, American League, you know what I mean? Leading the league in home runs, throwing 101-mile fastball, stealing 20 stolen bases. he's like the best thing that's come to baseball since like Babe Ruth. That's really where it feels like right now. And I would say the only thing that hurts him, and I know this might come off maybe I don't know, bad, but it's not going to go, is he's an Asian-born player. And we've seen this before where players that are not born in this country sometimes don't get the same amount of hype that maybe an American-born player does. But both of them are great. Listen, they put Vlad Guerrero. I think Vlad, the only thing that hurts him is he plays in Toronto. And Vlad would be the AL MVP. But you have such exceptional talent in Major League Baseball that I think the question is, baseball, they said it last night, baseball is in such a good position with the amount of young stars. It's just sad that baseball doesn't get the same respect that other sports do, like basketball, like football does, because, Trev, you, me, and Joe could name off 10 guys that could easily be the face of franchise that are exceptional players, like a guy like Mike Trout, like a guy like Judge.
I'm not talking about faces of franchise. I know there's a bunch of faces of franchise. I get that. There's faces of franchises all over the sports world. I understand that. But when we think of a sport,
I would say you can't count out Mike Trout. You can't.
Joe, can Ohtani be the face? Does it help that he adds that pitching element? Whereas if he was just a hitter, let's think about this. If he was just a hitter, Joe, would he have been so with the way that people follow him left and right? If he moves a step, they move a step. Is it because of the pitching element that makes him so must watch? Like if he was just a hitter, say if he was just Tatis or Vlad or Judge or Trout, would he get the press or would he get the attention that he's been getting?
I think, anytime you're talking about a comparison with anybody to Babe Ruth, multiply your popularity by 10. I mean, and that's what this is. So, yeah, when he wasn't successful the last couple of years hitting or pitching for the most part, I mean, we saw the pop. We knew he had the power, but it seemed like staying healthy, being able to pitch, those things didn't seem to be within his grasp. And he's putting it together. And, yeah, I mean, it's exciting, especially in this age where we feel like, guys don't play hard enough or guys miss too much time. And so to have a throwback to, a guy doing two things is I think definitely adds to the allure of Shohei Ohtani. And I've been very slow to get on board with this guy.
It's all right, Joe. You do the same thing in the NFL. You did it with Justin Herbert too.
I do. I get so aggravated.
Joe, you're always late to the party. It's okay.
Well, because here's the thing. Side note: Pete Alonso yesterday with 17 home runs at the break. Mind you, said he's the best power hitter in baseball. Calm down, brother. You won the home run derby.
I mean, you won it twice.
It's batting practice. Shut up.
Yeah, you still got to hit
practice.
Still got to hit the home run.
Yeah, Joe, he's a 250 hitter. He's a 250 hitter with an uppercut. Of course he can hit home run derby.
Joe, he hit 35 in that first round. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. It's so nonchalant, so smooth. It was almost better than Josh Hamilton's at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah,
he's got a 250 hitter swing, and you could see it. Nice uppercut.
Could the whole Ohtani pitching aspect as well, maybe one of his greater strengths, could be also a weakness because of the sense that he already had the Tommy John surgery? Is that something to keep, be as a baseball fan to see what he's been able to do offensively and in the pitching game this year? Does that get you nervous? Not just as an Angel fan, but as a baseball fan, because you have to appreciate what he's doing. This is bringing attention no matter what. And it's good attention. That's the thing. Baseball usually, hold on. The past couple of years, baseball has had a lot of bad negative press, whether it was with the Astros scandal and the Red Sox issue, now with the whole sticky situation, the steroid era and all that nonsense. Is this good? I mean, finally we're getting some good from baseball. But does that get you nervous as a fan to see that, well, he's already had Tommy John surgery once. He can injure the arm again. Does that get you nervous as a baseball fan?
Nah. Why would it? Tanaka played through. Tanaka pitched 10 great seasons.
But Tanaka's not Ohtani. Tanaka wasn't getting the press like Ohtani. My point is that Ohtani's getting the most press in the entire baseball world right now.
Here's the thing: if he has Tommy John surgery, who cares? He's gonna go. He's gonna go play DH and hit 35 home runs, 50 home runs.
But does he have? Yeah, but that's my point. Does he have as much of that space? It does matter. How can you just say it doesn't matter? If he was a regular baseball player, we'd be like, oh, he's just another great hitter like Mike Trout or something.
Because
the reason why he's so different and the reason why people love watching this guy and why the cameras are always on him is because of the pitching element. If he's just a regular hitter, it's just another great hitter coming into the game.
We realize that
he changed the game, like Steph Curry has changed the game, like Russell Wilson has changed the game in their respective sports. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, we realize that, but like I think you, me, and Joe have talked about this before. It might have been even a year ago. Eventually, he's probably going to have to make a decision as he gets older to be full-time hitter, and I think that's where eventually he'll probably go because his value will be. And if anything, they can use him. And this is where he becomes even more valuable. Maybe he becomes a reliever later in the games where you use him in the 8th or 9th. He becomes your closer. Now you save him. Okay, now he plays no game and he closes and he can still throw one inning, and now you're not worrying about the effect on the arm of throwing 100 pitches a game. But I will say this. The ability to be able to lead off the All-Star game and be the starting pitcher is what drives him. And that's what's
crazy is that he's leading off tonight. And he's starting the All-Star game. Like,
what I'm excited
back in the 1900s.
I'm excited like that. I'm excited to see the first at bat when he lines up and throws 101 mile an hour fastball to Tatis, who leads off for the NL.
I mean, think about that. You're gonna have the two faces of baseball starting off the All-Star game. That's like everything you could dream of. That's like back in the.
That's Pedro versus the NL when he went 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3. And he shut out Sosa, McGuire, and someone else.
The face of baseball nonsense. I mean, it was just Mike Trout, and then it was Aaron Judge, and then it was Ken Griffey Jr. and it was J-Rod.
You never know who it is right now.
Oh, it's always somebody different, and then they wanted Glaber was going to be the face of baseball. I mean, it's always somebody new, and then they level out. Then they stop being, what they start doing is, well, how about this? Everybody's seen the meme that went around about Aaron Judge and Mike Trout having played the same amount of games.
Oh yeah, I sent you that.
Yeah, Trev sent me that on Instagram.
I sent you both that.
477 games.
How often do I say that? If we're going to say Aaron Judge is injury prone, how dare we not say the same about Mike Trout? And I didn't realize it was the exact same amount of games.
Which is pretty incredible.
Again, there's a lot of media hype, right? I mean, I think I saw the article earlier today, which was something we were talking about last week as far as face of baseball and all that. Again, it's an ever-changing, what have you done for me lately? It's Tatis until it's not going to be Tatis. And it'll be somebody else.
You think that only happens in baseball? Or is like other sports?
Not at all.
You see in basketball. Well, hold on. You see in basketball every decade, it seems like, well, Kobe was the face. Then there was been LeBron. It was
football in the NBA. You could really have a face. You really could. And LeBron's been the face of the league and will be the face of the NBA until he retires. Plain and simple. He'll always be king of the hill. All right. Now, you'll have Durant will have his run when he was Golden State. He looks like the best player. That doesn't make you the face of the franchise. I'll put it this way. The beginning of the season, and Joe's correct, the first 2 months, this was the Tatis show. It was all about Tatis. Remember, he went off. He had multiple home runs against the Dodgers. He had stolen home base. He was making go-go plays. Remember when he had that slide at second base, which was like incredible. It was like a full-on split. Then he ended up pulling his hamstring a little bit. But what really has turned Ohtani is the home run power. He has 33 home runs. He's leading the league. He's probably on pace for about 60 home runs. He's probably on pace for about 10 wins this season, over plus 100 strikeouts. We've never seen anything like this. And what if Vlad Guerrero or someone else gets hot? They'll be the face of the month.
But if you had to pick right now,
I don't say they're having.
Hold on, in the current baseball world, if you had to pick one, I know it's if you had to pick someone, when you think of baseball right now, if you had to pick one,
Ohtani right now, because of the ability that he's leading the league in home runs and he's pitching at an exceptional rate. Now, yeah, he doesn't pitch shutouts like DeGrom. Because you have to put DeGrom in the thing because actually, if you look at DeGrom's actually a really good hitter. You can almost put DeGrom as a DH. He's better than some of the Yankee hitters. I mean, I know that's probably not a smart statement, but he actually hits the ball. He actually is one of the best hitters of pitchers in baseball. So, and he's putting up numbers that we've never seen as a pitcher. So there's really no phase, but I'll put it this way. Baseball is in a great position of young star talent that is incredible, and it's going to continue.
Let's get into it. Let's continue with the baseball trend because it is the first half.
Right, Jeff, do you feel that way? Hold on, before you start.
Go ahead. Yeah, Joe.
Do you feel that there has to be a face, or you just feel that it's an abundance of guys that are exceptional?
I think Joe's on the same page with you.
Yeah, look, it's something to talk about when there's not a baseball game that night. You know what I mean? It's a good debate to have when there's no games for a couple days.
Here's my thing.
It doesn't matter who the face is.
If you had fantasy baseball, Joe, who would be your number one pick? Would you take Ohtani? Would you take Tatis? Would you take Guerrero? Who would be like your fantasy number one pick?
I have Vlad Guerrero on both of my teams, and I'm very pleased with that.
No, but if
decision.
you had the number one pick though, like fantasy, like Ted says, good point.
I had the number one pick. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Probably right now, maybe Ohtani. I mean, he's that's got to be. I would imagine, the flex guys in football. You know what I mean? Yeah, when people have Taysom Hill, or the Saints. Hey, he's the tight end eligible this week.
Future Saints quarterback, by the way.
It is just maybe. Funny, where we have gone, and if you've seen the last couple of years, remember it was the Trout and Harper show. Remember when they came up, and then Harper's disappeared, and then Trout's disappeared with injuries, and then remember Manny Machado was supposed to be that guy. Remember he was like that young superstar third base.
Well, maybe it's not the player. It's just the market. Maybe it's not the player. It's just the market where they're at. Because baseball is dominated by big markets: the Dodgers, the Yankees, Red Sox, Mets, Cubs, Cardinals.
So then you really want your face. You want your face of the game to be in San Diego and Anaheim. Yikes.
That's what maybe is difficult for people to.
I mean, hey, look at where
get into.
Christian Yelich has disappeared.
Yeah, that's true. Let's stay on the baseball topic right now because it is the first half. The All-Star game is tonight. Can't wait to watch that. And the Home Run Derby was last night. So let's talk about the first half and let's start. We'll give out our awards at the end before we let Joe go. I guess we should start talking about the Yankees because we haven't talked about it in a couple of weeks. And this is one of the oddest first halves we've seen in the Yankees team in quite some time. We really don't need to speak upon any more of what this New York Yankees team is like. 1 week they look like the New York Yankees. Next week they look like the Trenton Thunder team. That's what it comes down to. And it just speaks again to this past weekend. Going into Houston, who's been playing out of their minds, probably the best team maybe in the AL right now, have a chance to sweep them. And what do they do again? They blow it again. Twice this season of 4+ runs in the ninth inning. The only team to do it in baseball this year belongs to the New York Yankees. What do the New York Yankees have to do coming out of this All-Star break? I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago. But do they make a trade after the All-Star break? Or what should the Yankees do with the current team that's constructed and where the current standings, where they fall right now?
Ted, I'm going to let you go first. But before we get into what Trevor just said, I want to throw something out there at both of you. The Yankees have 73 games left. Okay? They're playing at a clip right now that a record of 40-33 in the second half seems reasonable, right? That would be playing about the percentage they're currently winning at. If they were to go and win 10 more games in that and go 50-23, where do you see the Yankees falling in, say between 40 and 50 wins in the second half? And I'll tell you why that's hugely important after you throw that number out there.
You know what's funny, Joe? When you said 40-73, that 40-33, that's what I figured they would finish in the second half. Because that's what they are. That's exactly where I think they would win, 40-33, with maybe you're talking, you get lucky and you win 2 extra games, so 43-30. There you go. So you get 3 extra games, 43-30.
Where do you see it? Where do you see it landing, Trev?
Hopefully.
I would probably, honestly, They're 3 games over 500 right now, 8 back in the column behind the Sox right now, who are playing out of their minds. I don't know. With the way they're playing against the AL East this season, and with the way they've gotten already swept by the Red Sox twice, we know how they struggle with the Blue Jays, the Rays, I should say, the past couple of years. I would say the same thing. Close to 500, couple games over 500, something like that. I don't expect unless they do something drastically, I don't know. And we have already talked about this. One move is not going to change this New York Yankee team. It's not. But if there's people that think that, let's just go trade Trevor Story or Jose Barrios or names that we've been hearing, and we're going to be fine. No, there is more issues with this Yankee team than just one move. So if I had to say, Joe, I would say about around 500 and the same 40 and 33, something like that. None too sexy and appealing, I should say.
So let's say they go 40 and 33 in the second half, or even Teddy's 43 and 30. That puts them at 86 to 89 wins.
That doesn't get you in the playoffs.
That's not winning the wild card. Not in this division. It's not. That's probably a 4th place finish. So the Yankees.
I'm looking at the standings right now, Joe. So they would have to Red Sox, Rays, Blue Jays, White Sox, Indians, teams that Astros, Athletics, the Mariners, who are 5 games over, have a better record than the Yankees right now. Those are just some of the teams that are in front of the standings, division / wild card right now. So they have a lot of catching up to do. I don't know. I could see them being better than the A's right now. I don't know.
If they go 50 and 23, that would still only net them 96 wins. That might not even get you the division.
But they'll get you the wild card.
Does that get you into the wild card, though?
But again, think about the turnaround that would require. A team playing about 750 here on out. That's not happening.
Well,
this team does not. They don't have the capability to do that.
Well, you guys probably, Joe, did you see the stat when the Yankees have an opportunity to sweep the series? They were 5 and 12.
Unbelievable.
See, here's the thing. Trevor, I don't know if I was saying this to you or I said this to somebody. So here's the thing. You win 2 out of 3 in Seattle. All right, that's positive. That's what you want to do in baseball. You want to win 2 out of 3 all the time. You want to win. You want to play 666 baseball. All right, so you win 2 out of 3. You lose the third one. What happened? Didn't play bad. Just Seattle had a better game, hit the ball more, made more runs, scored more runs. At the end of the day, that's how you win baseball. You score more runs than the other team. That's how you win. But then you go to Houston, right? You win the first one. Nice.
Cole looks dominant in the second game.
Then Cole comes in.
And he wanted that freaking game. He wanted that game.
Judge hits the home run. Cole pitches a beauty. Okay, you win 2. Now think about this. You go into the All-Star break, winning 5 out of 6. You sweep Houston in Houston, who's the second best AL record, only behind the Red Sox. Now your taste in your mouth feels really good. You're like, all right, we come off All-Star break. We got a 4-game set against Boston. If we can win 3 out of 4 against Boston, now things are looking up. Now we're playing with momentum. Well, it almost seems like we got swept against Houston by just losing that one game. That's the sour taste. Like, you remember those sour head candies that you used to get? It was you taste real good, and then you really get
sour heads. Sour heads.
That's exactly how Sunday's game felt to me as a Yankee. That it almost felt that we were almost better off being swept than winning 2 out of 3 and losing the way you did. Because, like you said, Trev, you lose with 4+ runs in the bottom of the 9th, which has happened twice this season. Happened against the Angels at home the other time. And then because you're a Yankee fan and because of what has transpired in the years, the guy who hits the winning home run, who's an exceptional player, Altuve, does it against you. Yeah, I mean, it's just because you got the mocking of the shirt. Listen, that would have been the perfect way to send off to go into the All-Star break.
It's not even that in the sense of it's like.
Can I just say this? I think the way the Yankees lost and the way that series went is a perfect picturesque of what the Yankee season represents.
I literally was about to say it. Literally, that game is the definition of the Yankee season right now. They get all the fans excited, get the team look like, oh, here we go. They're going to go in with winning 5 of 6 against the AL West going into the All-Star break, feeling good about themselves. What do? Perfect. It literally is the definition of the 2021 New York Yankees right now. They give us hope, and we're feeling good, and then all of a sudden, just when they think they They have me out, or I should say opposite of Sylvia in The Sopranos. Just when they think they have me in, they take me back out. That's what the Yankees did on Sunday. That's what they do. Instead of doing it the opposite where they feel like they have me out, they bring me back in. No, they do what the Yankees have been doing all year. And that's what's the most frustrating because they were the better team in that series. They beat them on Friday. Cole looked like Cole, dominant. 129 pitches, shutout, ace ball right there. And Boone, I loved it. Get out of my way. I'm finishing this damn game. Love to see that from your ace. And then being up that much on Sunday, and what makes it worse is that they kept freaking – every time they hit a home run, they were like this. They kept going like this. Go figure. Who's the guy that does it to him again? Good old Jose Altuve. Hey, Altuve, by the way, nice little tattoo you got covered up. Yeah, you're a creep. He's a bum. That whole Astros team, it makes it even better and makes me even more ticked off is that they're not going to the All-Star game because they don't want to deal with any of the players. And it just sucks to see. I wish they were all going there. Boo the hell out of them. They're creeps, all of them. But that's just the definition of the Yankee season of Sunday's game. Look great for 90% of it, and then they just bring you back to earth and say, hey, guess what, guys? We're just doing what we've been doing all year, so – it's just frustrating to see as a Yankee fan right now. I don't know what to make of them. I don't know what's going to happen in the second half. One move isn't going to make it happen. It's going to be multiple moves. I just know this. If the Yankees don't make the playoffs, expect a lot of major moves, I should say. Whether that's coaching staff, whether it's management, whether that's in the lineup, there's going to be a lot that's going to happen if this Yankee team doesn't make the playoffs because this is a win-now team. I don't know what to make of them. First half is one of the oddest Yankee seasons I've ever seen. I'm not as older as you guys. You guys have seen more, but this is definitely one of the oddest seasons I've seen so far. First half of the New York Yankees. I don't know what to expect in the second half. Joe, do you have anything final on the Yankees before we give out our awards of the first half of the MLB season?
Yeah, you're making a good point. We haven't seen the Yankees be this inconsistent since the early 1990s, and that was a team that had a lot of young players. They had a bunch of young pitchers. Scott Kamenicki, one of the only ones that turned into something. It wasn't until after they moved him. And I think when you go with a younger team as the Yankees had done transitioning into the 90s, and then when it doesn't pan out, with that group of guys, you're in trouble. And I feel like we're kind of there again. And I'm not surprised by where they are right now. They just don't, they find ways to lose. And that's not a characteristic that you've seen of the Yankees since about 1993. So I mean, at this point, they need to make some serious changes. I am stunned that, and again, I'm not trying to be reactive, but Aaron Boone's got to go because he can't get this team motivated. He can't, the way that this is playing out with Chapman is stunning.
I know.
And then keeping Greeny in blew up in his face. So, and like nothing this guy does turns to gold. I mean, the Yankees going 50-23 in the second half. To me, there's a 0% chance of that happening, and so I don't see this team making the postseason.
Okay. Do we see the Yankees make it? So that's one. Ted, do you see the Yankees making the postseason?
Right now, how could you say so?
I do not.
As every true fan, you have faith in your team and you hope.
You have to be real. You have to be a realistic fan. You can't be a dumbass fan.
But I think Tommy D says a good point. It starts with the 4-game set against Boston right off the bat. You lose 3 out of 4 against Boston at home this weekend. I think the season's over for you. Now I know that probably sounds ridiculous because it's like, hey, there's still what?
Why they would be 11 games back? They'd be 11 games back of the Sox if they lost.
At the end of the day, you're not winning the division probably, but you can win. You can get one of the 2 wild card spots, and that's what you have to do. You have to catch the Rays. You have to catch the Rays. Now. Listen, if we can get one of our 3 power hitters to stay a little bit more consistent, maybe do it at the same time, you could see those guys can carry a team for a couple weeks. You saw Gary do it. You saw Stan, you saw Judge do it. Can we get them to do it together? You know what I mean? Can Glaber shake off the rust? Can he have a better second half? Because if Glaber turns – listen, they can easily go 50-23. They have the talent. It'd be nice to get Severino back on the mound. Listen, if Chapman, he's gone through a thing. If they can somehow fix it up, but Booney says, okay, Chapman, it's your ball again. Let's see what you got. And he turns around where he was the best closer in baseball for the first 3.5 months of the season. It's definitely possible. They can rip. We've seen this before. They've ripped 12 out of 15 games off. It's definitely a possibility. Just the thing is, though, this year, the old days, like Joe said, they used to find ways to win these games. Now they're finding ways to lose these games, which is scary. And what kills this team the most, and I'll end on this, is their bread and butter was their bullpen, and now their bullpen is old cottage cheese. It's not what it once was, and it's sad because they still have the stuff. They're not like old guys. It's just the flow. And listen, you knew in the old days. It was Stan, Nelson, Rivera. You know what I mean? A couple of years ago, you knew it was Green, Britton, Chapman. Now, where's Britton? He's hurt. Where's Chapman? I mean, he didn't pitch in the ninth. Didn't even use him the other night. You knew he wasn't going to pitch. Why didn't you? Oh, they said he had a bullpen session.
Honestly,
excuses are getting old, and it needs to be figured out. Like you said, Trev, there's not one move that's going to correct this season. I don't think the Yankees are going to make a big move for Trevor Story, because either way, all those shortstops are going to be free agents, so they're not going to want to give up prospects for 3.5 months when you're not going to make the playoffs, and then he doesn't sign with you.
I would close out this point for the Yankees talk. If this team did make the playoffs, I'd be freaking terrified to see this team in the playoffs, because I don't know what team is going to show up each and every day. I don't know what team's going to show up later in the week against the Sox. But all I know is, Tommy D, you said it on the nail. Season's on the line with this 4-game series.
Two last quick things. I promise they'll be super fast.
Is this your one more thing?
This is one more thing, but it's two things, and they're both really good. Severino's starting to throw off a mound. He's going to start facing hitters this week. And Corey Kluber just started throwing from 90 feet, so he should be within a week or two with no setbacks. He should be able to start, a rehab assignment. So there is the potential, and if this team's going to go 50-23, they're going to need these two guys to come back and pitch like the aces that they are, or this team will not win the wild card and may not win 85 games.
We'll see what happens. All in all, if the Yankees do make the playoffs, it'd be terrifying, because I don't know
who you got winning tonight.
On the line in a couple days. The season is on the line this weekend, and if it ends the way,
can I tell you? I was gonna say who you
got. Hold on. So tonight I'm gonna go. The rosters are it's so odd to see like not seeing Trout or like these different names. I got to get used to it now.
DeGrom not pitching.
It's definitely different not seeing the big names, but I'm gonna love it. I mean, I'm an AL guy, so I'm gonna stick with the AL. I gotta go with the AL to win tonight. If I had to pick an MVP, it'll probably be a bench guy. It feels like it always is, or something like that. So
not this year, buddy.
They've
already engraved his name on it. If it's anybody else, they're just going to put a sticker over it with their name.
Well,
they want to give this thing to Ohtani. If he hits a home run in the first and strikes out a batter in the bottom, guaranteed he walks out of there with the trophy. This thing could go 25 innings.
Are we all?
An imaginary guy could score from second on a single. I swear to God, they'll find a way to give this thing to Ohtani. I promise you.
Are we all on the AL tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. I would have loved to see DeGrom pitch against Ohtani. And then Ohtani, like he's going to pitch against Tatis. I would have loved to see it.
So let's close out with baseball with the first half awards. We're going to give just the MVP and the Cy Young. So let's go off with the AL. Right now, it seems like it's a one-man race, but Vlad Guerrero Jr. might have something to say. I'll start with you, Ted. AL MVP of the MLB first half of the season. Is it Ohtani?
Yeah, I mean, it's self-explanatory.
Listen,
listen, and it's only because of his pitching ability. If it was just hitting, I think Vlad would have a closer argument to make for this. But when he's also 4-1 with, with exceptional numbers. I mean, I know it's not DeGrom numbers, but you could. He's an ace. You know what he's doing. His strikeout rate is like 14 Ks for 9 innings. So, it's Ohtani.
So we're all on Ohtani?
I am not. I think that by season's end, I think look, no offense to Ohtani, he's never done this in a full season. Okay. If you look at all the time now, parts of 3 seasons that Vlad Guerrero Jr. has spent in Major League Baseball, he's done nothing but crush. And I think he will continue to do that for the rest of the year. Leading the league with 73 RBI, a 332 batting average, 430 on base. I'm sorry to say, this guy's going to end up out homering Ohtani. He'll have a lot more RBIs. He'll have a much higher batting average.
Does it come down to, though, one of those teams getting into the playoffs?
It'll help. And again, I think this is the other thing with the Yankees. I mean, again, it's not just you're fighting the Rays and Boston. You're also fighting the Jays. You need literally for 3 teams to choke. To kind of crap out. And the odds of that are not the idea of 2 of those teams fading is pretty tough to think about right now. So okay. I got a good feeling that Guerrero emerges by season's end. It's Ohtani's time right now and tonight, but hey, don't be surprised if Vlad upstages him tonight, matter of fact. Just to prove a point.
I'm going to go with Ohtani right now just because he's been lights out. He's been unbelievable. Vlad Guerrero has been amazing as well. I think it comes down to which team has a better shot at getting to the playoffs. I know that in the world of the AL, it hasn't happened because Mike Trout has won that award all the time. But I'm going to go with Ohtani right now. He's been dominant. He's been the most electrifying player, most must-watch player in baseball right now. And he's doing great things. He's doing great things for the game. And he's changing the game, too, as well with his pitching. And I think that's maybe the key of why he'll win the AL MVP first half for me, I would say. Let's get
by the way, Vlad playing home games this year, and they've played in a couple spots, is hitting 374 at home.
Yeah, he just rakes.
296 on the road, but my God.
Well, he also has 3 or 4 hitters surrounded by him. Another young talent team that they all rake. Bo Bichette and
another team that did it right by
Biggio and Gurriel. And
maybe the Yankees should take a freaking page out of the Blue Jays of how to freaking develop players.
How about a 413 average with runners in scoring position, 382 batting average with 2 outs of runners in scoring position? Baller.
Let's go over to the NL because I don't know if that's maybe that could be a toss-up between 2 players, or is that a foregone conclusion right now? Is that Fernando Tatis Jr.'s MVP currently, or I'm going to say it, Joe, is Jacob deGrom have a case for the MVP? We've seen pitchers win MVPs before. It's not surprising. Just saying, is it Tatis's MVP right now, or is it Joe's favorite player in baseball, Jacob deGrom?
It can be Jacob deGrom if look, I'll say you could call him the best pitcher in baseball based on stats. If the guy wins 13 games all year, I'm sorry to say, but shove that up your ass because the MVP doesn't win 13 like that. You know what I mean? He's going to have to win like 18 games and have the ton of strikeouts and the low whip, the high K rate.
So say he goes like 15-2. He's 7-2 currently right now. Say he goes 15-2 and he keeps the ERA at about like under 1 or under 2. Say like a 1.7.
If he goes 15-2, second half he's undefeated in your scenario, I could get along with that.
Okay.
I could. But this can't be like he's 12-4 at season's end. I don't care about that. That's not going to do it for me. That's not you know what I mean? Roger Clemens going 24-4.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. It's because pitching, they take away the starting pitching.
That's an MVP pitching kind of season. Ron Guidry 25-3 with a 1.78 ERA. That's an MVP kind of season. 12-4, get out of here.
Yeah, but is it his fault because of the way they changed?
Yes, it is his fault. Do what those guys did: pitch 9 innings, complete a goddamn game, throw a shutout, and then you'll get the wins. It's not that hard. Cole did it the other night.
Yeah, but it's the rarity of seeing a pitcher go a complete game now is so because of these damn analytics.
Because they throw 400 pitches in 5 innings. Stop trying to strike everybody out, you knucklehead.
Oh, he wanted to come in.
That's the problem, dude. They got 35 swings and misses. Yeah, and he threw 120 pitches in 6 innings. That's why he can't finish games.
So your case is Jacob deGrom for MVP then, right?
Could very well be, yeah.
Are you on Tatis right now? Are we all on Tatis Jr. though? For MVP?
I love Tatis. He's also one of my fantasy guys.
You know who's having an unbelievable Nick Castellanos from Cincinnati.
The Reds. Yeah.
Also have Castellanos on the fantasy team having an unbelievable year, dude.
18 home runs, batting .331. He's like third in RBIs with 61. Holy cow! I was just looking at the stats Major League while you guys are yelling at each other. And I'm like, oh, Castellanos is
we're yelling at each other. We're just having a passionate conversation.
My wife just came downstairs and yelled at me.
We're having a passionate conversation about the great Jacob deGrom.
Tatis is leading the NL in RBIs. Listen, if Tatis can stay healthy, he'll probably win it. Don't forget, he's missed time already twice this season. So if he can stay healthy, he'll probably – and especially – and we know this as much as anything. If your team is successful and you're close to the playoff race, that's going to give a huge boost. And right now it would be Tatis and Ohtani.
All right, so let's get over
real quick. Can we just address this comment? Sander, you're right. They do take him out. And the other night, you probably saw Aaron Boone tried to take Garrett Cole out of a game. That's what an ace does. You tell the manager, go sit the F back down and don't try to take this ball out of my hand or I'm going to break your fingers. That's how you stay in games. That's how you ensure getting the W next to your name when the game's over.
So let's get over to maybe the toughest of the choices right now, the AL Cy Young. I'm not even – the NL Cy Young, we already know who's – well, if Joe says anybody different – than the guy that he loves, Jacob deGrom, then we're gonna have big time issues. Joe. We might have to suspend you for a week if you say anybody other than Jacob deGrom for the MVP.
Listen, I'll tell you one thing. Kevin Guzman from the Giants has a realistic case. Go look at his numbers.
That's all right. Sick.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm still taking deGrom. Don't care. Anyways, the AL Cy Young. This one's up for debate.
We should have done that first and stayed with the AL. It's Cole.
You make it seem like it's like without question.
Yeah, I don't care about his two stats. He's leading the AL in strikeouts. He's 9-4. Okay, his ERA is less than 3. It's like 2.34. I just had it in front of me.
2.68.
Okay,
Carlos Rodon striking out 36% of the batters he faces. He's got a 183 batting average against. That's better than what Garrett Cole has done. He's got a 2.61 ERA. He's got filth, and he's pitching his brains out. And so,
this year too.
Yeah, listen, while Garrett Cole certainly will be a contender for this thing, I'm going to tip my cap to Rodon because I'll tell you what, there's been no concern about sticky tack with that guy.
But Joe, he might not even be the best pitcher on his team. You see Lance Lynn's numbers?
Dylan Cease is also pitching really well.
Part of the reason why they've had an exceptional record. I'll just say this. If Cole wasn't on the Yankees, what would the Yankees be?
Oh, dude, forget about it. They'd be under 500.
They'd definitely be under 500.
And again, that's barely winning more than half of Cole's starts as it is now.
That's what I'm saying.
I think I'm going to go both with the New York guys in this case. I'm going with Cole and deGrom. To me, still the two best pitchers in baseball. I mean, the dominant. I mean, you could put some names, Gausman for the Giants, Rodon for the White Sox, Lance Lynn, White Sox. They've been great pitchers this year, exceptional. But those are the two best pitchers in baseball. We've talked about it countless amount of times. Jacob deGrom and Garrett Cole are still the two best pitchers in baseball. And that's why I say those are the two Cy Youngs. And I think they're going to stay the Cy Youngs in the second half and win there. And Garrett Cole will win his first Cy Young. Jacob deGrom will win, I think, like his third.
In a row.
That said, I would love to see in deGrom's first start in the second half for him to give up 6 runs, all earned in 3 innings, just so everybody can STFU.
Joseph, as always, buddy. It was good to talk to you. Good to see you, my man.
Looking forward to the All-Star game. I'll see you boys later on.
See you later in the week. Oh, I can't believe how much he can't stand freaking Jacob deGrom.
I wish he was a Yankee.
Would he like him if he was a Yankee? That'd be the tricky.
Absolutely, he would. He would be in such love. He'd be the first guy at the jersey shop. Okay.
I wonder if he's still watching right now. That'd be hilarious. But let's transition as Joe leaves. We're going to transition over to the hardwood floor and the NBA Finals. We haven't talked about the NBA Finals since it even began. because I was on vacation, as you know. I came to visit the family in Connecticut, and now I am back in the great state of Florida. But the NBA Finals has been great so far. It's been very good with the sense of Chris Paul, who has performed. Devin Booker had a struggle in Game 3, but he has performed up until that point. Giannis. Shout out to Giannis Antetokounmpo, what he's been able to do in the sense of we thought maybe 2 weeks ago this guy's season was done with, and we thought the Bucks season may have been also with Giannis. But he is playing at an exceptional place right now, an historic Game 3. Only the third player to ever do it. The others, well, they're going to be Hall of Famers. Shaq Daddy, Shaq-tastic, Shaquille O'Neal, with his incredible performance, and LeBron James back in 2016. Well, Giannis is in good company with his big 41-12 game in Game 3. My question to you, that is,
13 and 6.
He had and 6. Yeah, thank you. 13. Can Giannis continue to lead the Bucks with the historic play, and mind you, with that knee that has been bothering him, and you can see he's been dealing with it throughout the series? But can he continue to lead this Bucks team with the way Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday have been up and down again in this series, and to try to win his first coveted ring?
Oh, absolutely. They got to stick to what they listen. If you watch Game 2, you could see the Bucks changing their mindset. Giannis had a huge game 2, Game 3. I knew the Bucks were going to win Game 3. Home crowd. They haven't had a championship game since like 1968 or something.
Did you think they were going to blow them out like that too?
Yeah, you get a vibe. You can see you have the sense of the game. Listen, Suns are a really young team. They're going to be playing in a thing. It's just the environment. Bench players play better at home. That, when they're home, the other team doesn't play as well. You don't get the support. Devin Booker had a really bad game. Didn't even play the whole fourth quarter. Only finished the game with 10 points. Bucks have to stick to what works. They're a big team. They're big and physical. Lopez, Giannis, pound the ball. Pound it. Giannis, I think 23 of the 25 shots were within 5 feet of range. That's what you got to do. No threes. Stop shooting threes. Go right to the hole. They can't guard you. They don't have a matchup for you. And Ayton, they don't want to put Ayton on him consistently because Giannis gets him in foul trouble. And they don't have the size. There's no Dark Saric. So that's balls. Torrey Craig didn't look the same in Game 3 with that injury. So, listen, Giannis is the best player in this finals. Is the overall best player. Okay, he could change the game. He's been the defensive player of the year. He's been the MVP of the year. Yes, maybe Chris Paul has more influence in the way the game goes, but Giannis is your overall best player. He can take over. What tells me that in anything that he can't score 40, 15, and 5 every single game for the rest of the series? The thing was Drew Holiday played much better this game, and they got bench points, and Middleton, he's up and down.
If the Bucks were to lose this series, I ain't putting any blame on Giannis. For him to come out here and deal with like we saw in his injury against the Hawks series, we thought he was done for the year. We thought it was a torn ACL. They feared it was a torn ACL, but no, this man is playing on a still injured knee, hyperextended knee, and he's playing out of his mind. He's playing at an MVP, a top 3, top 5 player that we expect Giannis Antetokounmpo to be. He has been dominant. He has been the best player, Ted. I agree with you in that too as well. He's been the best player in this series. There will be no blame. If they end up losing this series, we'll see what happens tonight, or tomorrow, I should say. They are playing tomorrow at 9 o'clock. They are off. The All-Star game is tonight. Tomorrow is the NBA final.
This would be like when LeBron was playing with the Cavs and he was averaging like 50.
No, but the thing is, which LeBron Cavs team? Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the Spurs one? Or are you talking about State?
Because he didn't have a good series against the Spurs. The one against Golden State. The one against Golden State, where he literally was like 45, 15, and 10 every single night in that series. Remember? He was the best player in that series, even though he was the only player.
He probably should have won the Finals MVP that year.
Yeah.
But Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, we already know Giannis is going to do his thing. He's going to get into the paint. He's going to get his buckets. He's going to get to the free throw line. He's going to get his 20 to 30.
Has he made his free throws?
He's been making his free throws, but he's not great on the road. That's a different story. My thing is we talked about it the entire postseason. It's going to come down to if Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton are going to show up. We know Chris Middleton maybe is one of the most inconsistent players in the NBA because when he's on, Chris Middleton is a maybe top 15, top 20 player. That's how good he is when he's on. When he's off, He's terrible. He is god-awful. He's almost a liability offensively, just like Drew Holiday, who's a great defender, and he can score. But those two need to step up. Giannis has been doing his part. You see him on the sidelines freaking out. Let's go. Like, he's showing leadership. He's showing the mentality of a warrior, an alpha. And these guys, Holiday and Middleton, we talk about those two because those are the second and third best players on the team. Those two guys need to step up for the Bucks to have any chance to win a title. Giannis is going to do his thing. It comes down to those. The Batman, or I should say, I'm still going to say Robin. I say Chris Middleton is a Robin. I don't care. Giannis is the best player on that team by far. Middleton is the most important in the sense of when he's on, ain't no stopping him. Just ask the Atlanta Hawks. That's what it comes down to. The series has been great. The Suns have been playing well. Chris Paul has been playing well. Tomorrow will be a huge telling sign as if this series is going to go at least 6 or 7, or as if the series is going to end in 5 games. DeAndre Ayton has been playing well. That comes down to the key matchup. Is it Ayton has to play out of his mind now that the sense of Dario Saric is out with the torn ACL, so that becomes more pressure and more minutes on DeAndre Ayton, and he's going to have to take care of Brook Lopez / Giannis. That's what the key is for the Suns to continue to try to win. Also, Chris Paul's first ring. Ayton is the key for them. That's what I'll say.
So we're talking NBA, but I just want to interrupt you for 1 second as I just clicked on the ESPN app and something. 7-inning doubleheaders and starting extra innings with runners on second will be dropped starting next year in baseball.
Thank God. Thank God. That's see, baseball doing a good thing. About time.
So here's my other thought. So let's get back to the NBA. Let's swing right back into that. Suns are going to win. Devin Booker has to be the superstar that we saw in the series before this, the series before that, and game 1. He's got to be a superstar. He's got to wake up. This is showtime, right? People want to start calling him, maybe he's the next best thing to Kobe Bryant, the Mamba. Let's start not crowning these guys. We crown these guys after one game, one series. You know, Kobe wasn't Kobe until, like, after Shaq left. Let's be honest. Shaq was the man.
Don't you dare disrespect Kobe Bryant. Don't you dare disrespect the Mamba like that.
Shaq was the man, and he was
BS. Go look at Kobe's final stats. Go ask Kobe's Go look at his stats when you talk about Kobe.
It all stems from Shaq because Shaq's dominance inside.
The Lakers don't win without Kobe Bryant.
They don't even get close without Shaq.
They don't win the title with guess what? They don't still win a title without Shaq.
They don't get to the playoffs without Shaq.
They don't get to the play. They don't. If you remember when Kobe played against Portland, don't get into it with Kobe. I will defend him to the day. Trust me. Go on.
It's Shaq.
No.
Shaq sets a tone because then they have to double down. You kick out, and Kobe does his thing because he was a
Kobe
playmaker.
had to do it all. Sorry, can't rely on the center to win it for you.
Yeah, that's why he was the MVP.
Yeah. So, well, congratulations. When you get 30 points inside the paint and can't hit a free throw. Yeah, everything's easy.
That's why Kobe needed Gasol because he couldn't do nothing afterwards.
And that's why everybody needs a second guy.
He scored 81 points by himself. No one else.
And they won.
Yeah.
It was awful.
And they won like 73. He scored more points than they had wins in the season. That's easy because there's only 80.
Easy. Come on, man.
He's still exceptional.
I think he had twice as much.
Listen, this is a very simple. Basketball's a very simple game. Which superstars are going to play better, right? We know what they are. We got Giannis and Chris Paul. Okay. Giannis has been great the last 2 games. Could have almost won game 2, but they didn't. I think home field advantage of being in the Suns' home. I look at this series as a home series. Somebody's got to win on the road. That's usually how it comes down to. You make a great point on Middleton. If Middleton can play like he did when Giannis was out the last 2 games against Atlanta, Milwaukee can easily win the series. Well, not easily, but they can win the series. But if Devin Booker plays like the guy that we had seen in the first 3 playoff series in the West, the Suns should win in 6. And that's really where I see the series ending. In 6, Suns winning in 6. Really?
We actually never made our predictions of this finals, which is unfortunate. But if I had to say,
well, listen, we know tomorrow's game. We know tomorrow's game is a must-win for the Bucks.
Oh yeah,
that's obvious, Captain Obvious here. You know, because if not, I think the Suns can close it out in 5, or at least win it in 6. I don't see them losing 3 straight.
I'm gonna go with the Suns as well. I think they're gonna win at 7, as I would say, just because I trust. I trust the Suns more than I do the Bucks. I just don't know what Middleton or Drew Holiday is going to show up that night. I know what I'm getting from Booker. I know what I'm getting from CP3. Ayton has got to be the key. Like I said, for the Suns to win a championship, it's going to not be Devin Booker or Chris Paul. They're going to do their things. It's DeAndre Ayton.
I don't know about that because Ayton didn't do Booker didn't do much the other night, and he didn't play.
I know, but that's one. Yeah, but he's been playing out of his mind this entire postseason. My thing is, it's going to come down to DeAndre Ayton. Can he continue this trend and becoming one of the better big men in the game? And he's been performing well in this postseason. That's the key for them. The key for me with this whole Bucks team, it comes down to Middleton and Drew Holiday. If they play well, they play all-star caliber level, the Bucks are going to win the series. If they play like bench players, role players, the Suns are going to win the series. Comes down to it. But tomorrow's a huge sign. Will the Bucks continue to win at home, or will the Suns reclaim a huge win and maybe one step closer to winning that first ring for CP3?
And I'll put it this way. If the Suns end up winning this series and Giannis continues to play, it'll be similar to what we talked about when Brooklyn lost against the Bucks. I'll have a newfound respect, even more so, for Giannis, like I did for Kevin Durant in a losing effort. Because sometimes you find new respect and more power for guys that lose for the performances that they have. Because Giannis has been exceptional. It's unbelievable that he's playing at the level he is, considering, like you said, he hyperextended his knee, thought he tore his ACL. Supposedly, that thing has been really swollen. But, hey, he's performing. He's been dominating. Like you said before, only 2 other guys have ever had 40, 15, and 5 in back-to-back finals games.
He's been incredible. I mean, it's been a great finals. There's a lot going on in the sports world. The All-Star game tonight. Can't wait to watch that. And we'll be talking some NFL soon, I promise you, because it's right around the corner. The boys of fall are coming back, and we're going to have a lot of football to talk about. Trust me, a huge season. Fans are coming back. I cannot wait. But we are streaming on all social media platforms at Keys to the City. So comment, subscribe, like, or share. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We are out.
Yeah. Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.